Real Madrid 2, Chelsea 0 in the Champions League first leg quarter-final tie. Ben Chilwell rightfully sent off. Chelsea did pretty well to hang on. Only conceded one more when they were down to 10 men for a long period of the game, around 30 minutes. In some respects, a flat Real Madrid in many ways. Not at their scintillating best, but Chelsea, the commentators will tell you they're still in this, but a team that can't score, a team that consistently leaks goals up against the most devastating powerhouse in European football history. They are all but out of this tournament. For me, I want to say a big shout out to our title sponsors tonight, Tops Now. Every week, about a day or two after the Champions League games end, so from tomorrow onwards, exclusive, limited edition Tops playing cards, real physical playing cards become available for you to collect, buy, and own. If you're someone like me, I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to collecting cards of all types of sports, MMA, baseball, and of course, our beloved football. This is something I'm massively into. There's a link in our description or live comment section for you to go on now, sign up, and they will notify you when they become available. And some of these have a massive upside. Some of the 2017 cards, as an example, are now worth up to £6,500 to £7,000. I also read a very old, I think it's Mickey Mantle. He's a baseball player playing card, recently sold for as high as £20 million. So if you're someone like me that loves to collect this type of sporting memorabilia, get yourselves across the Tops Now at the end of this show, or you can scan the QR now, bookmark it for later, go and sign up and get that done. It's free of charge to do unless you want to purchase one of their cards. Someone says, is this a pre-record? No, it's not. It's me speaking right now. Look, Chelsea tonight, there's lots to talk about. Panel will be coming soon. They're flat. There is no... This is what's crazy. Real Madrid, to me, had a poor night tonight. By their standards. I'm judging them up here. They always get assessed at the highest level of the game because they are... what's the right way? They're the elite of the elite in the Champions League. They are, along with Liverpool and Man United, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, the royalty of European and world football. So they will always get judged at a higher standard than everybody else. By their standards, they were a little bit off tonight. And still, Chelsea barely laid a glove. There was one good cross, an attempt from Reece James. Good job from Raheem Sterling. Courtois saved it. Outside of that, poor in possession. Defensively, both Ben Chilwell and Reece James were getting cooked this evening. Nowhere near the level that they generally present. The midfield, listen, it wasn't a bad Chelsea midfield, but it just got overrun and dominated. Their passing was off. Their runs from deep didn't come off. And then defensively, there was just calamity after calamity after calamity. Very simple ball over the top for the first goal. No one really paying attention to the trickery, the positioning, the reading of the game of Vinicius Jr., not to mention his electric pace. When he gets his foot on the ball, yes, it's a good save from Kepa, but who's following it up? Of course, in my opinion, arguably the greatest number 9 in European football history has a tap in because Thiago Silva and Koulibaly stopped running. They don't follow it up. They were ahead of him at one point. They just don't have the instinct. Whether, Thiago might have had the instinct but doesn't have the speed. Listen, Koulibaly is an absolute shocker of a player. And then you have the £52 million problem in Marc Cucurella. This is an individual that at Brighton looked a star, but not even with Graham Potter at Chelsea did this guy perform. He maybe has had one good game, but he's sleeping for another long ball over the top. The same long ball that led to Koulibaly's injury. Another long ball, Cucurella asleep, ignoring the game, gets caught out. Ben Chilwell has a decision. Do I let my guy run through and go and have a shot and maybe go 2-0 up? Or do I pull him back? Ben Chilwell probably should have allowed the shot to happen. The result may have ended up being relatively similar. He now misses the next game but it leads to a red card, which stopped Chelsea from being able to get themselves back into this game. Now, when they went down to 10 men, yes, they conceded from a long range effort, but they were probably a little bit better, Chelsea. They probably performed better, very compact, very defensive, hard to break down. But another uninspired, flat, impotent performance from Chelsea Football Club. The manager, with all due respect to Frank Lampard, it's fact I saw Ashley Cole on the bench. You've got two European football legends, one of the greatest midfielders to ever play our game, one of the greatest left backs to ever play our game on that coaching bench. If you remove their names and the prestige that comes along with that, they are two Sunday League coaches out there managing and coaching Champions League football for Chelsea. Chelsea Football Club are becoming too sentimental, too nostalgic. The fact that they appointed Graham Potter was a mistake. They've sacked him and they didn't have a replacement ready is nigh on diabolical. Now, they would have been no better had Potter had been there today because the dressing room had already gone. But Lampard had no idea. Remember, he went to a flat back four in the last league game, back to a back three tonight. So just like Graham Potter, no continuity. Potter's problem was he was never picking a solid core of 8 or 9 players for them to grow any chemistry. This guy's done 2 different systems in 2 games, and in both they've looked as flat as a pancake. Legitimately as flat as a pancake. And Shove Tuesday was how many weeks ago? So for me, Chelsea, listen, the commentators tried painting this positive picture of, they're still in it. They could take it to the bridge. And I want to ask Chelsea fans this question. I want to see your comments now coming through. I think up until maybe 2 years ago, with any other Chelsea team in the Roman era, if you'd have just played this game and it was only 2-0 and you were going back to the bridge, there would be a, listen, when we get back to Stamford Bridge, we might be out of we get an early goal, game's ours. I don't believe there's more than 10% of Chelsea fans who believes they've got a catch chance in hell of getting through. There's a comment here that says, Terry 100% didn't watch the game. Oh, I definitely watched the game. It was a flat, abject performance from Chelsea. Constant mistakes at the back, constant lacks in concentration, no chemistry between the players. And what are you to expect? You have no focal point up front. You've had a manager that's managed 2 games for you again, who's played 2 different systems in 2 games. You're never going to create continuity that way. The same types of issues that Graham Potter had. You've also brought a manager back who lost the dressing room before, and now his job is to try and galvanize a dressing room. Come on now, my friend. You lot know I've been very kind to Chelsea in recent years. Very kind when your teams have been brilliant. Very kind when it comes to praising the brilliance that I've seen from Chelsea in recent times. Everyone knows I'm unbiased. Everybody knows I'm not a hater. I just speak the truth as I see it. And I definitely watched the game, my friend. Yes, you had a few attempts on goal. And as I've said, Real Madrid weren't at their best. There was half an opportunity tonight, if the right type of performance went in, for you to do a little something. And you didn't. You didn't. Now, if you want to come on and tell me I'm wrong and show me that something different happened in this game and I've missed it, I'm all ears, my friend. I'm all ears. I'm going to have a panel on soon. They can tell me how they think and feel. There's no echo chambers on the football terrace. But Chelsea tonight looked absolutely rank average against a brilliant club in Real Madrid, but a team themselves that were definitely off the pace. And if they're zipping that ball around, if Real Madrid are buzzing Tuesday night at Stamford Bridge, I assume it's Tuesday. Normally games are done the opposing Champions League night on return legs. Maybe it's on Wednesday again. I haven't looked, to be fair. But either way, that's an irrelevant element of the point I'm making. If this Real Madrid team turns up, Chelsea are in big trouble. If they were on point tonight, it could have been 4, 5, or 6. It really could have been, my friend. If you think differently, please let me know why you think differently. I'd love to know right now. This comment here says, we should have won this leg. Real Madrid were crap. Is what Felicia. Listen, I wouldn't say they were crap, but they let you have a lot of ball early on. There was opportunities to play out, and I honestly feel like the second goal you can kind of forgive Chelsea for not being at the edge of their box because they were down to 10 men and Real Madrid made that count. But what led to the red card was was just a long ball over the top. And the reason that Cucurella was even on the pitch is because Koulibaly fell asleep and then he's tracking back, got injured and had to come off. To be caught, I think at this level of football, to be caught out with long balls over the top when you know you're up against pacey wingers is a travesty. It's a travesty. You should have been compact, hard to beat, hard to break down from the beginning and try to catch a goal on the counter to really take the game back to Stamford Bridge. But you can't score goals. How are you scoring 3 next week at Stamford Bridge is beyond me. Atletico Madrid with 0 losses since loaning João Felix out. I've seen a lot of people come for João Felix the last few days. Listen, João Felix for me is a baller, but he is the eye test baller. Great touches, great turns. He's levels at that. But there is 0 in product in that guy at the moment. Maybe it will come later down the line, but that man is shooting pure blanks, bruv. There's more blanks in him than at a sperm donor clinic, bruv. Like, legitimately. They're not sperm donors. Sperm testing clinic, bruv. Listen, this is a fertility clinic. I fucked that one right up. We'll move on from it. We'll move on from it. You know what I'm saying? The guy shoots blanks. I bet what someone there said, yeah, better. More blanks in the territorial army. That's true. Legitimately. He's got great skill, great ability. But as I've told you all before, and this is it. And I think João Felix proves me right. You can have all the skill and ability in the world. If GA isn't there, you're João Felix. What would Chelsea fans rather have? Half the technical ability, but goals like Bukayo Saka and Rashford, or João Felix and no goals? I know what you want is João Felix's ability with Rashford's goals. But if you have to pick between the two, I'm always picking output. Always picking that output. And there's very few players on the world that have the technical ability of a João Felix who score and assist 30+ goals a season. There's very few that exist. So for me, you have to go for the efficiency over the eye test. And look, maybe João Felix will get it. Maybe João Felix will improve in time. But the man, for me, I don't know if he's worth the 80, 90 million, you know. Maybe with a striker next to him, maybe with more output up front, and Kunku's coming in, maybe another striker joins, maybe a wide player that can score goals. Maybe then you won't notice it as much. Maybe then he can help link the play because I think he could be a good facilitator. But he's never going to be the guy to get you the goals and the assists. That isn't his output, isn't his game. So you've got to build a system around him, maybe. Maybe. But we will see. Madrid are literally the best team. ITM, Chelsea on the knees. Well, for some reason, I forgot what that means now. I have to Google it. I'm going to have to IWT. What does it mean? In touch with? No. What does it mean? Slang. What does it mean? I don't know. My brain's gone. What does it stand for? Best team. What does it mean? You lot in the comments will know. In the world. Right, cool. Got it. Best team in the world. That makes a lot of sense. Just could not work it out. Sorry. Best team in the world. Chelsea are on our knees. Why can't you be objective? Praise Madrid for their greatness rather than Chelsea hate. Have you only just joined in? I spoke about how they weren't at their best, but I judged them at the high standards. Go back and watch how I spoke about Real Madrid last season. We're going to get onto a Benzema conversation later, and how I tweeted just earlier on today. I think he's probably the best number 9 in European football history. Outright number 9 who's always been a number 9, not someone that at 35 become a number 9 like Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm talking born and bred number 9. I can't think of any that's ever been better than him. Can't think of any with as much pedigree in the Champions League, as much pedigree domestically, who's delivered at in everybody's eyes the biggest club, in most people's eyes the biggest club in the world. There's a lot of praise for them. But all I'm stating is that, and I'm not hating on Chelsea either. Like, I'm really sorry to say this, DJ. I've been very fair, very, very fair to Chelsea over the years. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to Chelsea fans that tune into the terrace and say, oh my God, you were really good. You were so unlucky. The ref cooked you. Oh, you can get it. You can get this back at Stamford Bridge. Why would I lie to my viewers? Why would I lie to my people? I've spent a long time building the football terrace up, and the fans come in waves. 2 years ago, my channel was so Chelsea heavy because they had that brilliant summer. Tuchel ended up that same season. Tuchel won the Champions League, and I praised Chelsea because I thought they were really good. Right now, I'm not going to lie to my Chelsea fans that tune into my channel and say that you're brilliant. That isn't hate to speak the truth about your club, brother. And I know 95% of my Chelsea fans tuning in agree with me. They may not agree with all my points, but they know I'm not a hater. They know I'm speaking my truth, my opinion on football. Chelsea haven't scored in over 6 hours. Felix passes the eye test and nothing more. And Havertz fouls on both metrics of eye test and statistics. Mate, I couldn't agree with you more. I swear Chelsea have only won one game in 13 as well. Legitimately, one win. I saw that somewhere. Someone said that earlier today. I haven't verified that. But is it one win in 13 now for Chelsea? That can't be. That is a lie. In the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. In the last 15 games, 4 wins. Whoever I heard say that, I must have misheard. 4 wins in 14. But since their last win, the 3-1 win against Leicester, now that is 1, 2, 3. That's 5 games without a win, 2 defeats on the bounce under Lampard. It's this season for Chelsea. I think Chelsea have more losses this season than wins in total, in all comps. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 wins, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 defeats. They've lost more games than victories this year. How am I hating on Chelsea to say how poor they are, my friend? Not you, Josh. And DJ, I really respect the super chat. I never try and disrespect super chatters. But let me just say, bro, a lot of people come to the terrace and they may not have seen previous years of work. When Liverpool were at their best, I said they were the best team in the world. When City under Pep were doing Centurions, I praised and applauded how good they were. Arsenal this season have had a lot of praise for their progression. If next season Chelsea are smashing it, fighting for the title, and Arsenal are sitting in 8th and they're crap, you'll hear me call both those things out. I am unbiased. I don't hold grudges. I speak the truth as I see it, my friend, and always, always will. We have a super chat that's come through here from Debbie, a lovely donation. Thank you so, so much. She says, and I quote, Todd out after that prediction. They are going to rot. They're going to riot at Stamford Bridge. Sacking Potter was not a good idea. Debbie, I think sacking Potter was a good idea, but you have to have a plan after that. The plan can't be a worse manager in Frank Lampard. And I genuinely mean this. Big Sam would have been a better appointment. Big Sam, tactically, nowhere near as good as the elite managers in the world. But do some research into what his ex-players say about him. And Big Sam's actually managed some serious footballers. Nicholas Anelka, what's his name? JJ Okocha, just to name 2. I remember watching a podcast and somebody said, listen, the guy didn't have any real tactics, but he was a wonderful man. He motivated you and you'd run through a brick wall for him. I don't think Lampard can do that. Big Sam would have got you playing better in the last 2 games, would have you more organized, more disciplined, and have a smile on their faces far more than what Lampard is capable of doing. So I wouldn't, and the prediction that Todd Bowley made, saying you're going to beat Real Madrid 3-0 at the Santiago Bernabeu, come on now. Come on now. That can't be real. That can't be real. Terry, I've been watching the Terrace since listen, if you've been watching since 2020, then you see me praise Chelsea when they've been good, and you see me condemn them when they've been bad. Then I know you're saying hate, and you could say praise Real Madrid more. I didn't think Real Madrid were at their scintillating best today. I really don't think they were at their best, but they still win 2-0, my friend. But I appreciate the super chats, and I appreciate your support. As we say, no echo chambers here. And thank you for handling this discussion between us like a gentleman and like a scholar. So thank you very much, my friend. Terry, rivals are jealous that you praise Arsenal and not their team. Yeah, and you know what, bro, though? Next season, if Arsenal were bad and Liverpool were great, and I'm praising Liverpool and not Arsenal, some Arsenal fans will get angry about it. And then you have my core group that just like listening to what I say about football. It is the way it is. Yeah, we know Madrid are not at their best, and that's coming from a Madrid fan. Yeah, I'm not hating. You know, I don't think it is at all. But there we go. Remember, we are sponsored tonight by Tops Now. I said at the start of the show, if you didn't hear me, genuine, bona fide playing cards available right now. What you do is click on the link in the description, or scan that QR code on the screen. As you scroll down, all you've got to do for now is put your email address in the bottom here and press send. When you sign up, you get up to 10% off, and you will receive exclusive updates and early release access to their products. And when it comes to their products, the majority are sold out right now. You have to wait for the new ones to come out. So that's why you've got to sign up. But you'll see these cards, for instance, and here one came out the other day. It was sold for like $9.99. It was Haaland's card after he scored those 5 goals, a commemorative card for that. They released a handful in standard. They released some gold. They released some gold versions, and they released some rare versions. They'll range between sort of £5 and £10. Cool cards to have. Keep them nice and safe and secure. The things that I collect, these things could be worth genuine money in the future. Some of them right now from 2017 alone are selling for anywhere between £2,000 to £6,000. So if you're a collector like me, I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to this stuff. Now, when I was a kid, like Merlin sticker books, Pokemon cards, Pogs. I don't know if you guys did Pogs. Collected all those kind of things. I don't know how much they're worth now, but when I got a bit older, I laminated them all, so they're all protected. I quite like doing that. That's why I love this sponsorship opportunity with Topps now. So scan the QR code or click on the link in the description. Bookmark it for later. Get yourself signed up because these are genuine, real collectibles, and they're all limited edition, which means you'll be one of a handful of people in the world to have them. And who knows what the value of these will be in years to come. Let's take a little look here at another super chat that says Chelsea's run-in is scary hours too. May not win another game this season besides Forest. Bruv, that's not even a dig. You look this weekend, they're at home to Brighton, they could lose. Then they've got Madrid. Then at home to Brentford, they could lose. Away to Arsenal. I think they'll beat Bournemouth away. Then at home to Forest, they'll win. Away to City, home to Newcastle. Legitimately, there could be 1 or 2 more wins this season for them. It's crazy when you actually deep that. And that's why I feel like they had to have a manager to come in and replace Lampard, because this period should be getting the fans excited going into pre-season. Now, it's going to be a horrible time. That Madrid performance made Man City inevitable. Yeah, but you don't write. That was a poor Real Madrid performance. There's much more to come from them. But yeah, City are the favourite, no doubt. I said before, Chelsea and their ownership are quickly and quietly turning them into Fahad, Moshiri, and Everton with how fast they are sinking. Listen, I think there's a lot of Chelsea fans that deep down inside are feeling like that. They can still get this right. They've appointed a brilliant backroom group. They have, on paper. If they get the right managerial appointment in, brilliant. But if they don't, and imagine they don't get rid of enough players this summer, and they've got a 30-man squad next year, they get the wrong appointment, the board are still too involved in playing matters, they could be in big trouble next year. They could be. Terry, mate, City fan here. I think we all give City more problems over 2 legs. Is Cucurella decent or dog in your opinion, mate? Big up for your show. For me, I was someone that really rated Cucurella at Brighton. But Cucurella is right now, I'm going to say it, he's a charlatan. I don't see a player in Cucurella. I see somebody who was, you know, Jesse Lingard when he was at West Ham and he had all that space to run into, he looked like a baller. But when you're in a big team and teams play up against you, teams increase their game, or you come up against more low blocks, or you've got to do more one-on-one defending because bigger teams attack in more numbers, so you're more exposed defensively. Now that he's being exposed to that one-on-one defending, the guy gets cooked. It's why Maguire, when he's in the England squad, we don't really attack. When he was at Leicester and they were a solid group of players together, he looked good. You put him in a Man United team where he's exposed to regular game-by-game one-on-one defending, the man gets cooked like he's in Gordon Ramsay kitchen nightmares. He gets cooked. Panel coming in a few minutes. I think Andrew's joining us, Winter Surfer. Man like Matt in Australia. Good day, mate. And man like Don. I like Don. I like Don's takes recently. So Don's on with us tonight as well. Do you think Chelsea could decline further? They need a new stadium and further work on the team and staff. Could be years for them to get back to the top. They could be back next season challenging if they get the managerial appointment right. Clear out the deadwood. They can get rid of a lot. You can sell a lot of players in the summer. You might have to take a loss, but you can sell a lot and buy. They need a prolific goal scorer and a few more players. If they get out of the management's hair and let them pick the squads, pick the teams and leave them alone, and it's a world-class elite manager, they'll be fine. If they get this appointment wrong and say they do something mad, like go back to an Antonio Conte, I'll say it, Chelsea are going to go backwards. They have to get this appointment right. If they get it wrong and they keep getting themselves too involved, Chelsea could be in genuine, bona fireball trouble. They really, really could. And listen, as a Man United fan, do I want Chelsea back to their best? No, I'd be an idiot to say I do. However, I'm always someone that wants to see football fans treated well, especially 95% of football fans are working class people. The clubs are built by working class people, and I want to see clubs and fans treated well. I stand by that, and I always will. So I don't like seeing these billionaires come in and ruin things. Some people want to laugh at it, but I care too much about the heritage of the game. I'm someone that cares. For me, football is in my opinion, one of the greatest things that my nation's ever created. I'm very proud of it. But it's about the fans. Football is always about the fans, and we should never lose sight of that. I don't like seeing any group of fans treated badly by their owners. That's why I stand up for Liverpool fans all the time when FSG are doing a madness. But they just stand there and protect FSG and have a go at me for calling it out. But there we go. This here says, no, that's shocking to me. Why didn't they play better? 2-0, that's it. Listen, Madrid, if they were purring tonight, could have been more. They weren't quite at the races, but they still won 2-0. Time for the panel now, my people. Keep your questions coming in. Keep them super chats coming. Smash the like and the share button. Let's go. Welcome back to the show, boys. Commiserations on the defeat. Don, talk to me, bro. Another abject performance, a red card. Cucurella and Koulibaly, awful again. What went wrong tonight?
Just the same story, Terry, man. It's the same thing. We've got too many holes in this team right now that we need to fill. We've got nothing up top. You can see we had 2 players today playing up top who aren't strikers. I thought we started the game quite well, to be fair, in the first 15 minutes. We were imposing ourselves. We had a quick counter there when Felix, if he was a better finisher, if he was an actual striker, maybe he would have had a better chance, finishing that opportunity that he had. But after that, it was just the same old, really. There was no fight. We were losing all the second battles. Fofana was poor. I think that early yellow card did not help him at all. He was all over the place. Of course, when we played at 5-3-2 today, you had Reece James, who was, sort of leaving Fofana quite isolated. And the fact that he had that yellow card, you can see, was quite shaky because Vinicius, he's a top player. He's the best left wing, I would say, in the world right now, barring Mbappe. So, yeah, it just wasn't a good day in the office. But again, I said before the game in the group chat, we had to have 8 out of 10 from every single person today, and we just didn't get that. Same old from Kepa again. How many times is this guy going to get beaten from outside the box, Terry? I've lost count. It's every game this guy gets violated. We cannot keep this man at this club past next season because I can't even trust him as a bench warmer, really, because he'll find a way to worm his way back into the team. And I'm not saying today was on Kepa, but again, it just goes back to the same thing. We're going to have the same conversations about the same players all the time. Koulibaly was good. I thought he was quite good. But again, you've got Cucurella. When he plays left centre-back, he's just so small. He's not as tall as Badiashile. He's not as tall or physical as Koulibaly. He is a wing-back. His first instinct all the time is to always jump up for the ball like a wing-back would when he's playing at left centre-back. What that does, Terry, is it opens up that space. That's why you saw Ben Chilwell trying to cover that space and just getting sent off the way he did, because I'm lost for words, man. I'm speechless. What it is right now is that I'm done. I'm done with this season. I'm waiting for next season so we can reset, get the deadwood out of this club, and just get a manager and go again. I'm just happy that it wasn't worse than 2-0, because to be honest with you, Real Madrid were not in third gear today. I feel like they didn't get out of second gear, to be honest. We were quite poor. Apart from the first 15, 20 minutes, we did fuck all. We did nothing. Nothing at all. I didn't know where a goal was going to come from. This is 4 games in a row now where we haven't scored a goal. So, bridge or not, we ain't scoring next week. We are not scoring against Madrid next week. We're out. Yeah, we're out. And the only positive that I take from it is the fact that when we do go out, at least Real Madrid will give City a game, because City will just beat us again. They've beaten us every single game that we played them since the Champions League final. So, yeah, man, I've checked out. I've checked out completely. Wow, I just don't see how we're gonna come back now at all. We don't have anything up front at all. It's done.
Bro, and I get the frustration. Since the return after the World Cup, 5 wins. 5 wins in like 4 months of football is crazy. Matt, how are you feeling after that today, bro?
You know, I'm just hoping he gets smashed 4-0, to be honest with you, because again, it's the same thing. Don spoke about the game, pretty much what I was going to say. Pretty much, I look at these players and I look at Reece James. Shocking game. What happened? This guy in his new pink boots couldn't get anything past. He couldn't get it one pass through ball. Couldn't defend. He kept slipping. It just wasn't him today. He wasn't him. Chilwell on the other side wasn't him either. He was absolutely shocking. And then to go and get that red card, it was shocking. For me, I wouldn't have pushed him that far out. I mean, he made the decision to push him back. For me, I think Kepa was high up the box who could have came out and saved it. But again, does he trust his keeper? Probably not. And that comes down to communication of the team. Cucurella should be marking his man, and it comes down to the midfield who was sitting too far up. So it's a whole team effort for me on that Chilwell thing. But Chilwell was still absolutely fucking horrendous. He was garbage today, same as Reece James. And for me, why? Lampard was supposed to come in and get these kids to thrive again. And for me, it's not Lampard's fault. I'm not going to come out and blame Lampard. Lampard's already shit. It's all Todd Bowie. Todd Bowie came in from last year, sacked Tuchel because Tuchel left him on red on WhatsApp, so we had to sack him. Brought in Graham fucking Potter, one of the worst managers I've ever seen in my fucking life. And I said, day one.
Can we keep the swearing down a little bit?
Yeah, sorry, Terry. It's like the third time you tell me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But and then he comes in, he gets to Graham Potter. I said, day one, Terry. I said, day one, Graham Potter needs to go. Because Graham Potter is a rubbish manager. And he sacks Graham Potter, brings in Lampard. For me, why don't you bring in a permanent manager now? Enrique was waiting at the door. He brought a whole PowerPoint presentation. He's waiting to walk through those doors. But instead, to make the fans happy, to give us a PR stunt, he brings in Frank Lampard. We had a chance, guys. We had a chance to go through and try and win the Champions League because we're not going to be playing Champions League for 2 years. But instead, we get rid of our hope, we kill our hope, and we bring in Lampard. This game as well, the subs Lampard did just summed up this guy is absolutely clueless. To bring on Gallagher and Mount for Kante and Thiago Silva, our two best players, for then bringing on our two worst players, it just summed up this whole game and summed up our whole season. How these decision makings is horrendous. No matter who the manager is, these decision makings is absolutely horrendous. So coming into the next Madrid game, as I said, nothing's going to happen from that. It's shocking, absolutely shocking. I mean, the only thing positive is that Ben Chilwell is not playing, so at least he can have a rest for a couple more games. So. For me, as well as Kepa at the back, I thought Kepa had a bit of a decent game. He was very involved in this game, which is something you don't want to do. You don't want to involve your keeper. He was over-involved. But again, that second goal was horrendous. Why didn't he get a finger to it? And it comes down to, I think, his height. He is very short. And I'm saying coming next season, we've got to get a taller keeper. People say Mendy's that guy. Mendy's far from that guy. Mendy's done his finish. Sell Mendy. Bring in another keeper next season, compete with Kepa, and then next season we can see whether we can keep or sell Kepa. So let's see how this season's done. But Bowie, for me, is the one to blame. I think I was really hyping him up last season when he joined. I was really happy when he joined, but he's just stuffed up this whole season. And then to come out and say we're going to win 3-0 is even more of an embarrassment. He makes this club an embarrassment every single week, and he keeps doing it. He needs to resolve this issue, stay out of football, stay in on your private jet somewhere else, and let the football come down to the managers.
I think you're right there in terms of ownership. Have got to take a massive a slice of responsibility for this. The appointment of Frank Lampard is diabolical. I know proper Chelsea were like, yeah, this is great. I still can't believe they were pushing the narrative that he would galvanize the dressing room. He got sacked because he lost the goddamn dressing room before. It's just nonsensical, It's honest to God. Like, I'm English, but doesn't mean I know how to Morris dance, Just because he's proper Chelsea doesn't mean he knows how to run Chelsea. It's just an absolute cluster. Obviously we've got Daniel. Daniel, you there?
Yes, I'm here, man. I'm here. How are you?
Where you been? I've not seen you in ages.
Oh, mate, you're gonna make it seem to your public that it's because Chelsea are losing, but that's never me. Of course, it's not me.
The last time I saw you, I think you guys were just giving Tuchel a new contract.
No, that's not true.
See, we ain't spoke on camera or anything about this for a while.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your thoughts on everything going on at Chelsea right now, Danny, my boy.
I don't even know where to start, man. But I've missed the terrace, though. To be fair, it's just like work and everything. It's just been crazy, innit? So obviously, it's good to come back and give my take. I don't even know where to start, but obviously, I don't want to take too long. But essentially what it comes down to is, and give or take, is what you want to believe, what you want to choose as the biggest reason. And I've broken it down into a couple of reasons in it. So obviously, if we go back and start the story from Todd Bowley and Thomas Tuchel, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is when a new owner comes into a club, despite Thomas Tuchel obviously only wanting to um, manage and just wants to coach and da, we were in a situation where you just couldn't do that. We've come into a situation where Czech Marina have left. You've been given a bigger role, and obviously you want to impress your new owners. You need to do more. You need to make more of an effort to be a good employee at the end of the day. Yes, he didn't sign up for it, but at the end of the day, no one signed up for it. So as much as Todd Bowley is to blame in terms of results on the pitch, sacking a world-class manager, I still have blame for Tuchel's part because he should have done a better job in trying to want to be in charge. If you want to be there, then you'll do a much better job in having a better relationship with your manager. And at the end of the day, look, our managers, we all have jobs. Our managers sometimes say things that we are like, what are you even talking about? But at the end of the day, you get on with it because that's who pays your check. So you just keep it going like that. Fast forward, you have Graham Potter who's in charge. And to be fair, look, at the end of the day, they went for a guy who's up and coming. If it went one way, if it went positive and there was enough to believe in him, people wouldn't really complain. I can tell you that Graham Potter had a bare minimum expectation of trying to get into the top 7, Europa League finish, and he'd still be in the job. It's the fact that it was so porous and there was no justifiable reason to keep him in charge, and there was nothing to cling onto. And then added on into the fan unrest and whatnot that led to his ultimate sacking. Then the final one, where I'm seeing people say that Lampard's appointment was great from a PR perspective. That is even what made me so frustrated, that we've gotten to a place as Chelsea Football Club where we are hiring someone as the manager to lead the first team, where we want to win trophies, we want to build for the future because of PR, so that we can look good, so that we can feel good, so that we can almost look as if, like, yes, we're taking our time, we're being methodical and logical with our approach. It's nonsense, mate. It's nonsense. You're talking to people who have seen how managers have been appointed. Like, we're not idiots. Really and truly, what should have been done is you keep Potter till you're able to find a replacement. If you've made a decision to fire Potter, you keep Potter in the job till you're able to find a replacement. Putting in Bruno, someone under Potter's coaching staff, someone who's obviously not going to want to stay because that's his guy, makes no sense. So then rushing and just saying, all right, cool, let's bring in the Lampard because he's out of a job. When has anyone in the history of football been sacked from a side in the same season that are almost going to get relegated, that have to bring in, yes? And you talked about Big Sam being a better option. The reason why Sean Dyche came in to Everton is because they know he's capable of doing what needs to be done to adapt to the players that he's been given and get the results needed to push Everton up. Everton aren't qualifying for Europe, but they need to finish in a better position. That's the same thing needs to go for us. Like, the same thing needs to go for us. We need to finish in a better position. At the end of the day, of course, nothing's going to come about from this season, but you need to aim high. You need to look for something better than going for someone. Forget Lampard being sacked initially under a different regime. I'm not even talking about that. He got sacked from a side that almost got relegated. When have we ever seen in the history of the Premier League someone get sacked from a side that almost got relegated and then get the job of one of the biggest teams in the world, let alone England? And obviously, my man, I've not met you, and I know you're shaking your head, and you're probably going to have a response to Lampard being hired, but there's absolutely no excuse to put in Lampard in place. It's almost like Manchester United sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and then saying, yeah, let's bring back Giggs because he managed one game in charge. PR, let's feel good. If I say to you now that Ralph Rangnick, undercover and is still not respected, was probably one of the best appointments that the Glazers could have ever made because it uncovered a lot of truths. It's almost basically the reason why maybe the Glazers have been pushed to the edge and want to sell. And then they've brought in Eric Ten Hag, who, do you think Eric Ten Hag, fair enough, if he has beef with whoever comes in, then he probably gets sacked and whatnot. But the quality of manager is there. If he's able to agree and he shows the new managers what he's capable of doing with his current side, he's already won a trophy with Manchester United. If he's able to get something sorted, you've got a budding relationship there going forward. And it's just, and just as the final point, it's on top of just everything that's happened at Chelsea, I think you have to be the most obtuse. And I wasn't able to give this opinion when Potter first came in, but you have to be the most obtuse of fan if you thought that Potter was the man for the job, especially given the fact that Brighton, yes, they played great football, but what was Brighton's biggest problem? They couldn't score goals. What was another one of Brighton's biggest problems? In all the things that Potter did well, they never finished above. What did they ever get a top half finish? I'm not sure about that. I don't think they did under Graham Potter. So, like,
Yeah.
we need to really
you're right.
reevaluate what we're saying as fans.
No,
So,
no,
yeah.
true. Potter needed a stepping stone before a Chelsea and Everton, a Tottenham. He needed. You guys are too big in the modern day game to be taking punts on managers like him. I think a lot of us kind of got suckered in on the hype train with Graham Potter, as it were. Some people didn't. Some people did. You go back and you look at it, and the biggest turning point for me was his first couple of games, and I go back to it. When the man turned up with a fade and a new suit, I knew there was problems because that isn't him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that isn't him. It isn't how you look or how you dress. Man look awkward. And we've all seen people, especially for girls normally. I had a friend once. I don't know if you guys had these in your area. There was a little trend where a lot of white kids started dressing like grungers, like Fred Durst. You know what I'm saying? Red baseball cap backward. There was a friend of mine, and this guy was always like me in tracksuits, you know what I mean? Tracksuits and kind of, I don't know what you call it. We shopped in JD and Foot Locker, right? That's how we dressed. And he met us one night with his new girlfriend he was seeing, and she was a grunger. Man turned up in these weird, grungy, baggy jeans, a black leather jacket, and a red baseball cap turned backwards. We were like, what the fuck is this? You Fred Durst? That's how I felt about Graham Potter when he turned up. It's like, yo, why are you dressed like that? Why is the hair cut like that? You trimmed a bit, man. Man looked homeless for a year doing well, and then suddenly started dressing like that. It was crazy to me. And
sorry, let me just say one thing to what Dan just said there.
yeah,
Dan,
go on, bro, go on.
pretty much everything that you said is facts, and I agree with you 100%. But the only thing that I can't agree with is you saying we should have kept Graham Potter any longer than what we did, right? And the reason why I say that is because, especially if you go to the games, I'm not saying anyone who goes to the games is more important than others who watch the game from home, right? But when you're actually at the ground and you feel how toxic it became and how negative the whole environment was, it just got to a point where it became untenable. We had to get rid of him. I agree. I would have never hired Frank Lampard. Ideally, I said it to all these guys here. I wanted them to find a new manager, hopefully in time for Real Madrid, because the main reason is I wanted the new manager to come in and hopefully start to prepare for next season. You know, see out who the dead weed is in his team, get all the dead wood out, work out who that is, because in pre-season you're still going to have to do the same job that the new manager is going to have to do now. But in pre-season, it's a shorter period when you've got to actually look at the players that you want to get rid of. Whereas if you come in now, you can work out, right, I want to get rid of this guy, I want to get rid of this guy. In the season, in pre-season, it's a whole reset. You can start afresh from the beginning because you've worked out who you want to get out already, barring the players that have got to come back from loan, etc., etc. But with Graham Potter, he had to go. The main problem is Todd Bowley took too long. And the reason why he took long is because he had to make it out as if they were given in chance after chance. Because again, they gave him a 5-year contract. This is their first appointment. They've sacked an elite manager. So that's why they had to take as long as they did. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all. But that's the reason why we're in this mess. Because if we sacked Graham Potter, let's say in January or before the World Cup, we would have never got Frank to come in. And if we did, it would have been for a game or two. Do you know what I'm saying? Pay as you play sort of contract. That's it. And then we would have got someone in. But it's because they've left it so late now and they want to make sure they're making the right appointment. That's why we are where we are. But I did not expect Frank Lampard to be here. So I don't agree with him being here. But it is where it is now. That's why I've checked out. Bro. Everything that you said, I agree with. But with keeping Graham Potter, we couldn't keep this guy. Sorry, I've been at the bridge numerous times and away as well. It's been toxic, bro. We had to get rid of him.
Bro, like,
we had to get rid of him.
This whole season, yeah. If you're a Chelsea fan watching this on the stream, the season was done from like, boy. No, the Champions League win didn't cover any cracks for me. Like, my thing is, going back to Daniel's point about where it began, like, it's begun from literally, I'm not even lying, it's Romans here. Like, we've been in decline for, not a major decline where it's eye-opening, but a decline for a number of years where they weren't making the right signings. We bought Lukaku. People forget who bought Lukaku. People forget who's buying Zappacosta and all these man. The recruitment's been poor, or not the best it's been for years. And Todd Bowley, the whole situation with Ukraine, I'm not going to touch on that. That happens. Todd Bowley comes in. He obviously makes loads of mistakes. Some players shouldn't be there. Some players are there who aren't really good enough to be here anyway. You got some young players who ain't experienced enough. Then he tries and punting with a young manager. It's all a cluster of problems. Our season right now isn't because of one or two issues. It's because of many issues. So if you've been a reasonable Chelsea fan, you'll understand that. I don't think in my opinion, I don't think these issues aren't rectifiable quickly. I think they can be. For example, you get rid of the dead squad, you get a world-class manager in, maybe Enrique, and arguably trust in him, and you let the man at the top, Todd Bowley, take a step back and actually let the football people do the football work. And then hopefully using that, we move forward. But I don't think it's a simple fix straight away. But I don't think at the same time it will take us years and years and years to get back. Because we've got the core foundations in this squad to be doing better than this. But to blame Potter and all that, Potter was, let's be honest, guys, like, if he had done a mad work at a club, that would be a miracle because he hasn't got a track record at a big club. Like I was saying, Brighton as well, he was good. It wasn't like groundbreaking where he's getting top 6 and all that. It was really good for the level it was. So we just got to keep level, understand that like right now is a very, very growing period.
I don't think anyone will disagree with you, bro. I don't think anyone will disagree with you. I mean, we've all heard this many times on Twitter Spaces and other streams, and we all know this problem. But I want to focus on the here and now. This is a Real Madrid game, right? And it ain't over. Everyone thinks it's over. It's not 4-0, it's 2-0. But at the same time, I want to focus right now. Like, forget everything else. You know, when it comes to Champions League, Real Madrid, we almost have to forget about all this Potter stuff and what happened in the past. Just why couldn't they show up like there's no tomorrow today? Why couldn't they do that? Like, what I don't understand, how can Fofana choose one of his worst games to be today? You know what I mean? That is not the earthside factor. Like, Koulibaly, he reminded me of a fighter that got a little injury. He's like, nah, I'm done. I'll tap out tonight. The second he pulled out hamstring, he didn't want to be there from the beginning. He didn't want none of that smoke.
Well, the reason why, it goes back to my point is because there's systemic issues in the club, in the locker room, in the change. It's like a deep-rooted issue. It's not like one game I can go, oh yeah, why not today? How many times have we seen this game?
Yeah, but this is the game. This is the big one. Like, you're not going to play a bigger game than this year, even into the finals.
How hard is it? How hard is it to make? How hard is it right now for us as Chelsea fans to make any predictions for any opponent we're coming up against? Because there's just no stability whatsoever. We don't know what Chelsea's. Who's going to score? We've got no stability whatsoever. We were all happy with the lineup today, right? But again, it goes back to the same problems we've got. We've got Ben Chilwell, Reece James looking at the box, ready to whip it in. They're looking in there. There's nobody there, bro. There's problems on the pitch. There's problems off the pitch. We've got no manager. There's so many problems right now. I get it. Yes, today the players did not step up at all. They were terrible today.
I mean, it ain't over, Don. It ain't over. Like, I don't think it's over as well. Anything can happen at the bridge.
Where are we going to get the goals from? I don't understand. Where are we going
to
even if you beat Real
Madrid, even if you beat Real Madrid, it don't make a difference, bro. It don't make a difference.
We're going to get embarrassed by Man City.
I don't care if we get battered or win. Like,
I'm not going to deny that. But for me personally, I was hoping to see something from this game. For me, it was like an audition. Bro. Felix meant to do something today. You know what I'm saying? Mason Mount, he tried. I know Rudy got good blocking, but I expected more. Like, it's D-Day for these guys, and a lot of them just failed. Even Koulibaly, I'll sell him. Sterling, I don't want. He's a Trojan horse. You know what a Trojan horse is? You know, frenemies. Man City tricked us, bro. That very done for, man. I don't know. Like, I wish we get a Cucurella.
But that comes down to leadership, though, as well, OG. We've been screaming for a leader. I've been screaming for 2-3 years for a proper leader. Aspilicueta, for me, isn't a captain. He's not a captain. On the pitch, he needs it. Thiago Silva, off the pitch, he does it, but when he's on the pitch, he's focused on his own game. We need someone, and I've always looked at the Roy Keane. I want a Roy Keane in this club. I know there's no one in the market who can get that, but we need a proper leader to take us to the top because we've been stagnant at the same level for years. And it's just said, we've been declining for a lot of years. People think we've just been declining just last 3 months. No, we've been declining for years already. So to get to that top, I've always been screaming for a leader, and we need. That's why I was screaming for someone like De Ligt back in the summer because that's someone we need. We need a proper leader now.
Yeah, but we had players on the pitch today, though. We had that.
No, we didn't because no one took our place to the next level. As someone said, Koulibaly, one run and he was gone.
Champions League winners, man.
But
Yeah.
no, it's not about
Sanchez just
influence.
came back.
But it's not about influence. You could be the worst player on the pitch, but if you're screaming, you're shouting, you're directing players how to do it. That's a leader. It's not about influence. It's about directing themselves and being a captain, being a leader. That's what
Yeah,
we
but
need.
you
We
can
need someone to
you can
direct
still
these
lead,
players on the pitch
still lead
and
by
lift their spirits.
performance.
What happened to our mentality manager? That guy from New Zealand who came in, he has done absolutely nothing because the mentality is still the
Nothing.
same. So we're hiring
Nothing.
these people and they're doing nothing. So for me, it's just these players. These players have zero mentality. They've been having it for years. We don't have anyone who wants to win. As Oji said, no one's coming as a collective and wants to win. There's individuals who might want to win, but as a collective, we're not thriving to win. No one looks like they want to be out there.
So, OG, just to respond to you, I don't know why you expect anything different from this season. I really don't. These guys can get up for walks away.
Just for
Why
one
they get from
game,
Madrid?
Andy. It's for
Why?
one game.
Why would
Not gonna
you
do it,
expect
Because
that?
it's the
Why?
biggest game of the season.
It doesn't matter, OG. They didn't get up for Liverpool games, Arsenal games, Spurs games, Man United games, City games. Why would you expect them to get
Who
to
the
Real
fuck is
Madrid? Doesn't make any sense. It's like, I don't even know why. I was not
But Todd
surprised. Tonight.
Bowley said 3-0.
Well, Todd Bowley's not going to say his side's going to lose 3-0, is
OG,
he? He's
come
going to say that. So, but I listen. If you set your bar really low with this team at the moment, you won't be disappointed. No one should be shocked by that performance tonight, whatsoever. It was a typical Chelsea this season performance. Terry, you could save your lot of time and just replayed any one of the after matches so far this season and bring us on, because we are, and it's not anyone against the guys, but we are just literally repeating the same thing after every match. It's just one of those things. I mean, I thought today we started off, I agree with Dom, we started off well, so bit of counter-attacking, but what was weird for me was, why was he allowing Kante to be sort of like an orthodox right winger in the first half, which means we're outnumbered in the centre. I mean, you got Conor Gallagher coming on in the Bernabeu, one of the most disgraceful things you're ever going to see in football in your entire life at all. But it's like, we've got people, I don't know, this fan base is so schizophrenic, man. They get that Men in Black flashing thing and forget how crap we've been just because Lampard's in charge. Did they not forget Lampard managed us for a year and a half, how bad he was? Terry's right. I laughed when they said he's going to come in and galvanise the squad. He ripped it to shreds when he was here. What are we talking about? This, and also in the starting lineup, there's 5 players that started tonight that were in that squad that he ripped apart. Why would they play for him? Why would they play for him? It's just one calamity after another. I mean, listen, I think Chelsea just literally forfeit the rest of the season. And just not bother, because what is the point? Hang on. We've got Brighton on Saturday. Does anyone even think we can draw that game on Saturday?
Oh, come on.
We
Oh,
can't.
come
We are
on.
going to get destroyed by Brighton.
Oh.
We're going to probably lose a heaviest ever defeat to Brighton.
I
on
clipped this,
Saturday.
you man.
This guy. Why would? And no one's come and said no, have they? I just
OG,
think.
I don't understand why you're
And I
smiling.
just-
so much.
Yeah.
And also,
Come on.
can we
So
also
to
give?
come back with a
Club is
win
disgusting.
or a draw.
Hang on, guys.
It doesn't matter where we
Guys,
play, bro.
Can we also give some blame to Clearlake as well? It's not all Todd Bowley. This
No, that's
it's Ed
facts.
Varley and Clearlake as
Yeah.
well. They are joint owners of this club. Okay, they are sole. They own this as well. But I'm with Don, and Don knows this. Even if he doesn't take over, you announce a new manager, you get him started now. Like what Terry's mob did with Ten Hag. They announced him it was April, right, Terry, last year? April, you announced Ten Hag, something like that. And then
April, yeah.
right, so he would have already started looking at who's in the squad, right? Who
Yeah.
he likes, even when he's still at Ajax. Just get in, and also it lifts the fans a bit. Oh, we've got Enrique coming in. We know what he can play. Or we've got Nagelsmann coming in. Who's he going to pick? Stuff like that. Because everyone forgets. The league finishes last weekend, last days of May. There's a Champions League final going to June. There's international break that lasts till the 20th of June. The players then go on holiday and don't come back to like middle or late July. We're off on tour in America and the season starts on the 12th of August. This guy's not going to have enough. And we've got players coming in and out.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Mate, and you're calling it right there. And that's one of the things I've been talking about. And because of this, I've seen the PR. Oh, I think it's the guys that are applying for the job that have said they don't want to start until the summer. I'm calling that as bullshit. Because for me, they want to be in there now. Ten Hag couldn't come in because he didn't want to leave Ajax in the title race. That makes a lot of sense why he had to wait. But we announced him. And we didn't really announce him until their title race was pretty much done and over. so it didn't get in their way. But Nagelsmann's free. Luis Enrique's free. I mean, they've been talking about Conte, but if it is Conte you're looking at, he's goddamn free. The majority of people are free. You should have already Luis Enrique or Nagelsmann in that dressing room. You may still have lost these last 2 games, but they can sit there and go, right, of those 35 men, it's those 15, 16 that have got to go. Forget, regardless of skill, ability, they're just wrong for me and my football. Their attitude ain't right. They've got to be out. And that's the biggest worry. If you don't get a manager in until the end of June, you've then got to get rid of at least 15 people by individuals to make sure you've got a balanced squad that isn't too bloated. But you go into the season with 30 players in your squad again, and the manager's had only half his team for a pre-season, there is no way you're having a good year. You might climb up. You don't think you'll come 11th again with the Luis Enrique, but there's no way you're pushing for the top 4. You've got to have got it done now. And for me, the mockery to this, and I get people blame Todd Bowley though because he is the face.
I know. Yeah.
Clear Lake are there, but Clear Lakes, it's like, well, you're blaming a bank basically. Who the hell are they? Like, you can't talk about any of them. And Bowley has done what Ed Woodward did at Man United. He's made himself famous through the process, and he's now a target. This man should be almost unknown, barely seen, not discussed. And in the summer, it was seen as a lot of clubs that we like his approach. He's very loud and bolshy, and they quite liked it. But I think he's had a taste for it. Do you know what I'm saying? I think the man's, he's had a little taste of that, and he ain't going back. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I feel sorry for Chelsea right now, and I know I shouldn't as a Man United fan. It's great you're not in our way anymore because you've been a thorn in my side for 20 years. But I just look at it and think to myself, I was someone that was here going, if they invest the same amount of money, but they build a long-term structure, get in a project manager, and kind of do what City have done. Wow, Chelsea could be dangerous. I was like,
I feel like we're a social,
and I'm not even worried about Chelsea anymore. I'm like, you guys are going to spend loads of money, but there's literally
Terry. I feel like we're a social experiment at the moment. That's what I feel like we're at the moment. I feel we're just like, we'll do the PR thing. We'll spend all the money. We'll say all the right things, or we think we're doing the right things. I mean, did they really think this PR thing was going to work? Because I tell you right now, there's more than a split on Lampard in or out. So to them to think that the whole fan base would suddenly go, "Oh yeah, Lampard's in," you're insane. They obviously didn't listen or didn't hear, because there was more than enough opposition for Lampard coming back in. Listen. I hope someone literally goes, even if it costs them their job, one of them just goes up to them and go, "Listen, you don't know crap about football. Let us run this club. You sign the checks, we run it."
What I will say though is that, like, and I get that, and I get everyone's frustrations, and it's totally valid. Like, no one has an invalid opinion on this. I'll say 3 things in regards to the ownership, where I'm just trying to have a balanced debate and argument and just like present everything like clearly in it. I would rather have the owners that we have now where they're on this side of the spectrum rather than the other side, where they've given us one player to the squad and they haven't invested and he hasn't tried to do certain things. Well, I will say for Todd Bowley, this is the first time he's he's owned a football club, and he's struggled where he wanted to keep Czech and Marina. They both left, and he wanted to keep certain structures in place, but people left in it, and that happens. So he's had to react, and he's had to do things that he's never had to do. I'd rather have this type of extreme than the other type of extreme, where I think he can find a nice balance where he can reduce the level of involvement that he currently has in the club from a decisions and a social media type perspective. I can guarantee you now, if Chelsea were playing exhilarating football and exciting football, and he said we're going to win 3-0, fans would be excited. It would be spun in the other way. Like, it would be made out to be a good thing. So at the end of the day, whether or not you agree with that or not, I'm just saying in the kind of slightest positive on what's all been negative, like, I'd rather he be this, and then he can improve gradually, hopefully, by reducing his level of involvement. The second thing is, look, we need to get it right on the pitch. And that's what it comes down to. In terms of players who don't want to be here, let them go. We might have to take losses. I don't know what the situation is in regards to that, but we might have to take losses on certain players. I mean, someone who's gotten away with murder today is Kovic. Kovic, I think, had one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life from him, and he was totally non-existent. And look, at the end of the day, there's no point in singling out people. Obviously, I've just done that now, but I just think that I don't want to be so focused on these minor things. There needs to be wholesale changes in terms of the structure needs to be right. The manager needs to be right. We need to know that decisions are actually being made from Vivelli and the guys that they've brought in that know football apparently. So I just want us to be less, bro. Let's just remember this has been a long ass year. Todd Bowley came in this year and he was never going to get all the decisions right. Fair enough, it looks like he's got none of the decisions right. But what I will say is we have the players where it's all about trimming the fat now, getting the right people involved, getting the guys that we need to stay, work on that, get the manager in to build on the squad that we've got, and then go from there. So just remember, it's been a very, very long year where we've had 4 managers. It's been a long year. And
then
it was,
that, you know, like,
it was never going to be perfect in one year. That's what I'm going to say.
That's the thing, like that I said earlier about the issues of the club with the declining. But the thing is, everyone can admit, even Terry's arrival, that like we've got the right structure in order to succeed. So right now it's going kind of like Pete Tong. It's not going the right way we want it to. But if he does let the footballing people do what they want to do, need to do, he does bring the right manager, he does sell the players, then we can move forward and be like, cool, he made mistakes, he was trying to be abrasive, front forward, face of the club, all this kind of like over like theatric stuff, and then we can like move forward with it and see where we can go. So it's not all doom and gloom.
It's arguable that the next managerial appointment is the most important in the history of Chelsea.
Jeez.
Because we got rid of Tuchel, whatever you think, fine. Tuchel's gone. He wasn't put on the field stuff, whatever it was. We then hired Potter. Big mistake, right? We then bring in Lampard. I know he's only interim, stuff like that. But if they are talking about long-term vision, right? They're talking about long game plans and stuff like that. So you have to get someone in who suits their vision, stuff like that. I know they thought Potter did, but also has the actual nous and actual, you know, you can be confident that they're arriving at a big club, that they know what they want to do and stuff like that. So I don't mind them taking like a few weeks to sort it out, but just announce it right now. Announce it right now. A load of Chelsea fans will be just then concentrating on the new season. They won't be concentrating on this season because they know they've got someone in to look forward to. What they do, what type of football, like people saying, who do you think is going to survive, who's not going to survive? How will he do well with Nkunku coming in and the players on loan coming in and stuff like that? But it's just, they have to get this one right because the Potter one was a huge mistake and it's arguably set us back even further with Potter in. Okay, and even with Lampard in his short stint might set us back a few months as well. So they have to get them in because Terry's right. The only saving grace I'd have for the new manager is if we're not in Europe, he's only playing once a week. So he has more time to put across his way of playing and stuff like that, like Conte did in his first season before it fell apart in his second season. So that's the only real saving grace. But announce it now. And a load of Chelsea fans will just let the season ride out for the rest of it. So.
Yeah, totally agree. There's a few super chats here. First one says Chelsea are after, I think it means João Cancelo, only cost 50 million. No thanks to him. This here says City and FFP breaches. Do UEFA allow the UEFA Champions League win to happen? Get ready for some interesting discussions versus Real Madrid, and I'm here for it. It's all going to be remain to be seen what happens with those charges. Chelsea normality for 100 years restored. Your Hollywood period is over. Back to being occasional FA Cup winners and mid-table regulars. Game over.
See, Terry, that's where people go too extreme too early. It's one season of a transition, right? Todd Bowley has messed up, but I believe that they'll rectify these problems that they've caused, as well as the problems that the old ownership had as well. Let's not forget how serious these guys were moving with Enzo Fernandez, getting that wrapped up on the last day, the way they were doing that. We were happy with the transfers.
Hey, don't bite, man. He wanted this reaction from me.
I'm not biting. I'm just saying that I'm getting this. I'm seeing this narrative everywhere from rivals.
He's a rival. Allow it. He's hoping.
It's one season, man.
Yeah, let's not forget the players we have as well. Like, we have a good squad. We have a big, good squad. Just got to get the right manager in. That's it.
Cut it down like this, man. Cut it down.
It's going to be such an interesting summer for Chelsea. There's no doubt. Joshua here says, How can you say it's not over when you've not scored a goal in over 6 hours and now you need 3 in one game plus a clean sheet? The tie is done.
Oh, but you never know. You never know, man.
Mate,
not over.
I know you never know in football, and I know why you're saying that, but the reason these players can't lift their game up is because the dressing room's gone, their heads are gone. There's no look at the way these United players were performing last year under Ralph Rangnick towards the end of the season. Now, Man United have had some terrible defeats this year, but we've also got the most amount of clean sheets in Europe. Like there's been a vast improvement. Rashford's got back to levels. Shaw's had a brilliant year. As an example, Bruno is back to his best in multiple positions. These guys were dreadful last year, and by next season, I believe they'll be an even bigger level. Sometimes, look, do I think all your players are gone? I look at Reece James at the minute, and I just see the shadow of his former self, and there's no belief in this team. And when the belief of a player or a team goes in any sport, it's done.
Okay.
Like legitimately, like we saw the great. I wouldn't say he's great, maybe a little bit overrated in some ways, but Jorge Masvidal, like the reason that he's lost he didn't believe before the fight. Whenever you start hearing old fighters say, best shape I've been in my life, greatest camp ever, expect them to lose. They're lying. There's no way at that age you're feeling the best you've ever felt. I'm 37. You never feel as good at 37 as you do at 27, like unless you were really unhealthy at 27. And yeah, this team right now, mentally, they ain't there, man.
So just one key thing about football as well is when I watch Arsenal smoke us the way they did in pre-season, the first thing that I said to my boys that support Arsenal is, I can see chemistry here. I'm seeing a different Arsenal. And they followed that up when they beat Palace first game of the season. Chemistry takes you a long place in football. Like, we've got a lot of star players in our team, a lot of individuals, but we just don't have that chemistry. On Ultimate Team, our chemistry right now is 15 out of 33. That's what it is. Our chemistry is so bad. It's so peak right now. There's no structure. There's no stability. So again, it goes to the mentality, but chemistry is a big thing in football. Why do you think Arsenal are doing what they're doing?
You're spot on. When I saw Arsenal in pre, I'm not someone that over-indexes pre-season unless there's chemistry, and you've nailed it. I've seen Man United dominate pre-seasons, but when you've watched the games, you're like, we weren't that good, but we managed to win 3-0. We weren't that good, we nicked a 2-1 win. We weren't that good, and we beat Real Madrid on penalties or something. But Arsenal in pre-season, the way they were moving, looking, there was a feeling, and I think that's why I did the whole I'm scared of Arsenal thing. And I mean, look how that's gone. No one expected Arsenal to be this good. You could see it. And that's why I think your manager has to be there now, getting ready for that preseason. So he's not starting, all of the expression of starting flat-footed. That's what you're going to have. And depending on how long it takes to get him in, how long it takes to get rid of players, how long it takes to bring in your targets, it's going to be tough. Like, it really is going to be tough. And even with Man United, we still took too long to get Ten Hag's targets. If we'd have had Anthony for the whole preseason, Casemiro for the whole preseason, in my opinion, we don't lose those opening 2 games the way we did. I truly believe that. And you had an extra 5 or 6 points to Man United. We're in a very different space right now. We're viewed maybe a little bit differently. And I think that the start is going to be, your preseason is so important this year at Chelsea, but we will see. I want to give a quick update in relation to the Tops Now sponsorship tonight. I just had a message come through from our partners who have just told me, and I'll read it out verbatim, the next release of Top Cards will now be in the next 2 to 3 days. And once released, it will be announced on the Tops UK Twitter page. Also, you'll get the notifications via email if you go and sign up now. And I'm just checking the prices on some of these, even some of the 2003 cards. So this one I'm going to put up on the screen now that you can see of Benzema from when he scored on his 18th consecutive Champions League game. There's a commemorative card that was made. It was only $9.99 to buy. It's now currently selling at $350 online. So these things are worth a lot of money because they're collectibles. So make sure you scan the QR code on the screen or the link in the description and get yourself across the Tops Now. Sign up and get yourselves ready because I might. For me, this is better than NFTs and all that weird online shit. At least they're real cards. Do you know what I'm saying? At least they're real. I actually ordered myself I'm such a geek of 37. You know, you buy those little boxes, the see-through boxes. So I can put them all in there and keep them fresh.
Yeah.
I've got kids. I know my Freya or my Jackson or Archie boy. I'll come in one day. They'll be drawing on them with pens. 110%. 100. I bought Jackson a new Thor hammer because he started his potty training. He had a good day. I bought him a really good plastic one. First thing he did was smack his sister in the head with it, and he knocked her out. Kids, man, kids. Would any Chelsea fans sign Laporte?
No, absolutely
For free. It's free.
We don't need centre backs, man. We don't need centre backs.
That's
We've all
what I'm
got other
saying.
things to focus on.
Arsenal fan here says very worried about next season if City win it all. I wouldn't. Man United will take the title off them next year. Don't worry about it. We'll do it for you, bro. We'll do it for you. We'll do it for you. We'll be back. We've got Qatar money coming, or we've got billionaire money coming. So either way, I'm excited. Boys, I want to thank you all for coming on. I want to thank our sponsors, Tops Now, and of course all of our super chatters and members and viewers tonight. Please hit the like button before you leave. Back tomorrow with more updates and transfer stories for you tomorrow. And then in the evening, Manchester United versus Sevilla will be live after that game in the Europa League. So make sure you're tuning in for some real Champions League heritage. That's tongue in cheek for anyone that thinks it's serious. It's called sarcasm. It's what us Brits like to do. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.